Today's Patreon shoutout is for Ye Old Knight. Torbran versus Atraxa, Kozilek and Thantis. A grip full of lands is not good. And a 3-lander, alright. No ramp there, so yeah, don't particularly like that hand, but we'll keep it. And our bad draws continue. Drakuseth, more of flames. Turn 1 Sol Ring from Thantis. And Sensei's top being spun during the upkeep. Then playing a Crystal Vein and going for the spin on the top now. Felwar Stone from Atraxa. A Sulfuric Vortex we can cast next turn at least. Do we go Smash to Smithereens on that Sol Ring? I think ironically the Sol Ring is actually going to buy us some time, because if the Thantis player goes crazy really quickly, then all the spot removal and these players' decks is going to go in this direction. In the meantime we'll be getting ignored. A Nature's Law. I wonder if they have a land in hand. I suppose we'll see this turn. Might be that the Sol Ring kept them from doing anything for multiple turns if we destroyed it. Yep, they did have a land. That was a Stomping Ground. And they played Sylvan Library, so that's quite the opening hand they've got. A Strip Mine from Kozilek. And a Metal Worker. Might actually be worth a Smash to Smithereens on that Metal Worker, because they've got 3, maybe 4 mana next turn. And then this. All they'd have to do is reveal 3 artifacts. And they have stacked the top of their library, so yeah, probably best getting rid of the Metal Worker. It is likely Super Friends, Narset Transcendent. Look at the top card. If it's a non-creature, not land, reveal it, put it into hand. That is a Sphere of Safety, so yeah, Pillow for Super Friends deck. Smash 2 Smithereens onto the Metal Worker. And that's a Goblin Sharpshooter, so yeah, I think we're best just going for the Sulfuric Vortex. We'll switch off the lifelink from the Atraxa. Going down to 29 life from 37 I think they were at just now. And ramping even further with a Cultivate. Darksteel Citadel. And is that really? You're going to waste a Strip Mine like that? That's probably a reaction from the Metal Worker. And yeah, reactionary plays like that are really bad for you as well as the table. Yeah, just like getting petty revenge on someone. It's definitely best to hold on to things like Strip Mine for Cabal Coffers and Gaia's Cradles and things like that. Anyway, they get down at Thought Vessel and a Mind Stone. They could have revealed the Darksteel Citadel, so we would have seen a Kozilek next turn, so it was definitely the right play to go for the Metal Worker, because they would have revealed 3 of these, made 6 mana, and then had 7, 8, 9, 10. And into the Kozilek. Meanwhile, the Super Friends player just being allowed to drop down Planeswalkers. That's a Jace Architect of Thought this time. The Sensei's Divining Top being spun. Jace going for the minus there because there's no threats. That's been pointed at the Kozilek player. So it's 2 feet or some lands. The Plains and Reflecting Pool are put into the Super Friend player's hand. So time to see if we can actually get into some ramp, any kind of, well, settle for a land at this point. No, of course, we just keep drawing into the expensive stuff. So we're doing nothing. Better hope that the Kozilek player doesn't need our help at any point. Thantis into play and getting into lots of ramp. This Jund player, that is a 3 visits. Sulfuric Vortex continuing to chip away at everyone. A Forsaken Monument. So that will effectively be a mana doubler for them. They're likely getting down their commander next turn. They are empty-handed, tapping into a Walking Ballista. And that means the Kozilek player's empty-handed. It's noteworthy that this does get a +2/+2 buff from the Forsaken Monument, so even if they remove all the plus counters from Walking Ballista, it will survive. Teferi been revealed at some point, not sure if that was this or last turn. Landing a Smothering Tithe. Alright, Smothering Tithe triggering on our turn, we do get into a land, so it's probably Goblin Sharpshooter, I think. Although I wouldn't put it past the Walking Ballista to shoot our Goblin Sharpshooter, so maybe Repercussion is the way to go. Maybe our opponents will get down a bunch of creatures, then we can go for the Blasphemous Act if we draw into it. Be funny if we won from this position. Well, this Thantis player just can't stop drawing good cards. A Demonic Tutor now. Playing out a Basilisk Collar. And even more ramp in a Skyshroud Claim, getting into every single piece of their ramp. That does bring in lands untapped, so they'll be able to equip the Basilisk Collar here if they want to. First playing the Shinka, then the Arcane Signet. What did I say about the ramp? So can still equip. Yep, going for Lifelink and Death Touch onto the Thantis. So attacking in at the Jace, it does get debuffed, but it's still a 4-5. Oh no, actually it's swinging in at the Narset, who has 9 loyalty at the moment, so that goes down to 5 loyalty. Inventor's Fair triggering at the Kozilek's turn. Seeing an Eldrazi straight off the top there, Oblivion Sower. And the Oblivion Sower is being targeted at us. So they exiled some cards from us there. Gets us closer to some lands at least. Jeska's Will would have just made mana for us, which could have been useful. Valakut Exploration without lands isn't any good. Liquimetal Talk is some ramp. Oh, they did get a land from us there as well. So they've put another plus counter. Yeah, they're really, that's strange. They're really gunning for us. I've noticed that Torbran really puts the fear of God in people, but yeah, they don't appear to be looking at the rest of the board for some reason. That is a 3-4 swinging in at us. Gets debuffed thanks to the Jace. Noteworthy that they would be gaining life from the Forsaken Monument if it wasn't for the Sulfuric Vortex. So everyone's successfully being chipped away by us. Seeing the Teferi Hero of Dominaria. Plus onto the Narset goes back up to 6 loyalty. Jace plussing again as well. Then a plus on Teferi as well. Draw a card and untap 2 lands at the end step. And then casting Dueling Grounds. No more than 1 creature can attack each combat. And no more than 1 can block. That goes pretty well with the Thantis in play. Noteworthy that at some point Ajani Steadfast has ended up in the bin as well. Not sure if they discarded to hand size there. Is that an X-Men thing? I lose track of all the special editions of Magic the Gathering product. That looks like an X-Men thing. Okay, so Smothering Tithe. We can't cast the Goblin Chainwhirler that we just drew into because we've had our mana screwed with. Is there even any point in going for the Goblin Sharpshooter, because it's just going to be forced to attack and they'll shoot it with this anyway because yeah, this Kozilek player seems to have it out for us for whatever reason. So we'll just pass the turn. We're not going to do anything this game, I don't think. The Smothering Tithe being paid for by the Jund player. And they will draw a couple more cards to Sylvan Library here, potentially. They do. They pay for that Smothering Tithe trigger as well, though. And that one, so dumping 6 mana into Smothering Tithe over here. Sword of Fire and Ice. And is it the creature that deals the damage, or a Sword of Fire and Ice? Sword of Fire and Ice deals the damage, so the Death Touch on here is irrelevant. That is now a 7/7 with Death Touch Lifelink, Pro Blue and Red, Vigilance and Reach. And the Jund player being the only one who seems willing to actually swing in at these Planeswalkers, so Teferi Hero of Dominaria going to go down. Sensei's top being spun at the end of the turn. There's still double mana over here. They cracked the Inventor's Fair, which hasn't gained them any life, I don't think, thanks to the Vortex. They've managed to get themselves into a Mishra's Workshop. Shooted up a Basalt Monolith, which, yep, that's infinite mana. And that gets a counter spell onto it, so they would have countered the creature anyway, the Kozilek, so yeah, I don't think they should feel too bad about that, using the floating mana to spin the top. So now, let's see if they continue to swing in towards us. Alright, so swinging in with the Oblivion Sower, taking care of that Narset. Atraxa hasn't managed to get the Pillow Fort together yet. A Tamiyo has been revealed. That must have been from the Narset, maybe. Doubling Season being cast by Atraxa, and a counter being dumped on Walking Ballista. Then killing their own Crystal Vein, and tapping down the mountain they stole from us, another counter on Walking Ballista, so they'll be able to get rid of the Jace here. Looks like Kozilek is finally waking up to the Super Friends threat. And then, of course, the Kozilek player scoops, because that's just the type of guy he is. Tamiyo Field Researcher entering play, and you may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost, draw 3 cards. So they go for the Omniscience emblem straight away. And that is a Commander's Sphere. Get down the Sphere of Safety, an Ashiok Dream Render, a Thrumming Bird, and of course they had the Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. So they had absolutely everything they needed there, in all fairness. So that fished out the Jace Architect of Thought, the Narset, Teferi Hero of Dominaria, and the Ajani Steadfast. This player obviously scoops because the game is won here. I'll play it out a few more turns, you never know, we might be able to do something with the repercussions still, but highly doubt it, they exile our graveyard, minusing down on the Jace straight away. For each player, search their library for a non-land card, exile it. You can play the card without paying the mana cost. Looks like they minus down for an emblem on this as well. So whenever you draw a card, exile a permanent an opponent controls. So playing the Vraska Unseen, yeah. Think we've seen enough there. That can be a little interesting game for you all, probably a 5 or 10 minute video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.